Alright. My name's Laura. I am so nervous. I'm shitting myself to do this video. One of my favorite authors is Jane Austen. I absolutely adore her. She is the author that got me into classics last year, and then I went on to the Brontes, Dickens, and all of those, and now I have found some of my favorite authors and some of my favorite books of all time. So the very first one that I'm going to talk about is my favorite, Northanger Abbey. This edition is stunning. It just has some keys on the front. Northanger Abbey is about a young girl called Catherine Morland. She lives with all of her siblings and parents in the back arse of nowhere. She is completely thrown into the world of Bath, social situations, young love, friends, foe, all that fun stuff. And it's completely new to her, and she's very naive. She's a young girl, and this is all a whole new world. And she meets some characters, some very interesting characters, and that's all I'm going to tell you about it because I'm terrible at summarizing books. Okay, next we have the one we all know and love, Pride and Prejudice. This was my very first classic that I ever bought myself. I bought this maybe 5 years ago when I was still in secondary school. I think I was Leaving Cert, and I was sick one day and I watched the 90s adaptation with Colin Firth. Highly recommend. My favorite adaptation of all time. I had bought it years ago, but I actually only got around to it this year. But I knew the story quite well because of how many times, so many times, that I've watched the show. She's just fantastic. It's just a fun story about these 5 siblings all being married off, or not necessarily, but just trying to find love so they can shut their mother up and move on with their life and, you know, start to kind of grow up a bit. And it's fantastic. We all know Pride and Prejudice. I don't even know why I'm going into it. Next we have Persuasion. I've read it twice now. I read it for the first time last year. No, I didn't. I read it for the first time at the beginning of this year, and then I read it again in maybe May or June, just to see if I liked it any more by the second reading, because Northanger Abbey, my love just grew for that so much more when I read it the second time. Persuasion, just, I don't know, it's kind of, I like the idea of it more than I like the actual execution of it. What is it about? It's about, I can't remember her name. She is 27 years old. She's not married. She still lives with her father. And she, in her eyes, in that society, she's getting old. She needs to find someone now, or it's kind of like she'll never find anyone and she'll be doomed on her own to die with her 7 cats. She used to be in love with a man, and I can't remember his name, when she was 18 or 19 years old. And he proposed, and her aunt, I think, or her mom's friend said, listen, you shouldn't do it, it's not a good match. Years later, I think it's 8 years later, when she is in her late 20s, he comes back to town, and he is also single. But there are a lot of people after him, because he's a snack. So she's still in love with him. All of her feelings have just gone and smacked her in the face when he came back into town, and they're both extremely awkward around each other, and it's great. It's a good book. If you like the idea of it, don't let me put you off. It's just, for me, it just wasn't as, I don't know, it just kind of let me down a little bit. I don't dislike it, I just don't really like it. Next we have one that I am so excited to read, Emma. I didn't really have any interest in reading this until I watched the adaptation with Anya Taylor-Joy and Johnny Flynn. Holy shit. It is the funniest adaptation I've ever seen. It's adorable. I have rewatched it and rewatched it and rewatched it so many times during the time of COVID, quarantine, being at home. I love it so much. Emma is about a brat. She's kind of a little shit. She's pretty unlikable. I haven't read the book, but in the movie, she's pretty unlikable. She gets her way. She lives with her father. She's very confident. She knows what she wants. Her best friend has feelings for her, and she is so in love with matchmaking other people and setting other people up that she doesn't even really pay attention to who wants her and who's interested in her and who's paying her attention. I love the movie, so I cannot wait to read the book. If it is anything like the movie, if they, you know, stuck to the book quite well, I will love the book. I love the story. I love the characters, so I cannot wait to read that one, and the cover is gorgeous. Next we have probably the least talked about on YouTube anyway, Mansfield Park. Gorgeous cover, absolutely stunning. Mansfield Park follows Fanny Price. What is your name? Fanny Price. I don't know a lot about Mansfield Park. I've watched one adaptation, it was this year, so I'll tell you what I remember from that. We're following a young woman called Fanny Price. I believe she's an orphan. She's sent to live with her cousins. She is in love with her cousin, and he has no interest in her, or he's just not even noticing her feelings. They are best friends, but he's just not noticing her feelings in that way. These two posh ones, Mary Crawford and Henry Crawford, come to live with them for a while or spend a few weeks with them, and the cousin is more interested in paying her attention, Mary Crawford, than his best friend Fanny Price. I feel like a lot of her characters are very outspoken and they put themselves out there, and a couple of them are kind of quieter, and Fanny Price is one of those, so I'm really excited to see what I think of her in the book. I liked her in the adaptation quite a bit. Next we have one that I know absolutely nothing about. This one was never finished. I think she passed away before she got to finish it, and it is Sanditon. I don't really know anything about this. Let me see, can I get anything? This is following Charlotte Haywood, who is transported by a chance accident from her rural home to Sanditon, where she is exposed to the intrigues and dalliances of a small town determined to reinvent itself as a fashionable tourist destination, and the characters whose fortunes depend on its commercial success, including the intriguingly handsome Sydney Parker. Alright. My foot is going numb. Ah! Jesus. Are you fucking joking me? Okay, I'm sorry, the camera fell, so it's not in the same position. Next, I have a beautiful cover of Sense and Sensibility. This is the Penguin Deluxe edition. They're absolutely gorgeous. I think they're stunning. Three sisters and their mother, they run out of money. I think the husband dies, and so they have to downsize. They have to move to a little cottage by the sea. It's a whole different way of life. They're used to buying whatever they want and living how they want and seeing who they want, and now they're kind of in the middle of nowhere, a whole new town where they have to meet a whole new group of people. They fall in love with some boys, and that's all I'm gonna tell you. I love the boys in this. I think they're fantastic. I can't remember their names, that's why I keep calling them the boys. I actually haven't read this yet. I'm talking like I've read it. I'm talking about the adaptations, what I know from the adaptations. I love the one with the guy from Mamma Mia, the guy from The Walking Dead, the governor, and Arthur Weasley. If that doesn't make you want to watch it, I don't know what will. I keep looking at myself because I'm so nervous and I'm so self-conscious. So, I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath from just talking. So now I just have a few multiple copies of a couple of the books that I've shown you, so I'm going to show you them now, and if I know the names of the editions, I'll tell you. Okay, first one I have is Pride and Prejudice. I think this is a Tor edition. Yes, it's a Tor Classics edition. They're absolutely adorable. I think they have one for Sense and Sensibility and maybe Persuasion. Absolutely gorgeous. So cute. This was the first kind of multiple copy I ever bought of a book. Beautiful. Next I have Persuasion. This is, I noticed it by Jane Austen. We know. This is a Vintage Classics edition. That's all it says. I think that's the name of them. They have, I think, all of the Austen novels in these editions, and they also have the Bronte novels, which I could do a video on those because I've read all of their books and I have way too many copies of them. These editions are gorgeous. I really want to collect the Bronte ones in this style because I think they're so gothic, and the colours that they pick are chef's kiss, if you will. Next, I have a very old copy of Northanger Abbey that was very aggressive. I don't know what, oh, Red Classics, okay. This is a Red Classics edition. Really cute. This was actually the copy that I read of Northanger Abbey when I first got it. Or when I first read Northanger Abbey, this is the one I read. Very cute. Again, I think they have all of the Jane Austen novels in this style. Next I have an absolute brick. It is the annotated Mansfield Park. I have no intention of reading this with the annotations in. I'll just read my other copy, but it has illustrations. I think it was like €6, and it's just pretty. It's just pretty. I mean, it's just pretty. That's why I bought it. Okay. Next, I have a manga version of Pride and Prejudice. Manga classics, that's all it says. I bought this a few years ago, still haven't read it. I don't know why, because Pride and Prejudice is one of my favorite stories of all time. Very cute. Can't wait to read it someday. Next, I have the most recent purchase into my collection. I got the complete novels of Jane Austen with my favorite adaptation on the cover. Colin Firth and Jennifer Eel, I think her name is. Absolutely stunning. I love this edition so much. I think this has Sanditon as well. Oh no, Lady Susan. Okay. I think this cost me, I bought this on eBay. I have been buying a load of old books recently just because I like them better. I bought an old copy of a Stephen King book a few weeks ago. I can't remember which one. Was it Different Seasons? It could have been Different Seasons, and she had her name in it and a few underlined lines, and I love that. I think it's so cute. Someone else has loved the book and someone else has had it and, you know, brought it around with them wherever they are in the world. I like that. So this is gorgeous. It's probably my favorite copy of any of her books that I have. I'm sweating! Last but not least, again, another brick. Can you hear that? Imagine getting smacked with that thing. Okay, this is, I don't know what it's called. Classics Reimagined? I should have done a bit of research before I did this video, huh? That would have been a good idea, Laura, wouldn't it have been? Okay. This is just Pride and Prejudice. It has illustrations in there. It's stunning. I'll, you know, get a... I mean, look at that in there. It's so cute. Most annoying voice ever. It has beautiful illustrations. They're absolutely gorgeous. I won't show you anymore because spoilers, but stunning. Absolutely beautiful. I don't know if they have any of her other books in this edition. I've actually never checked, but I want to now, so I will. So I believe they are all my Jane Austen books so far. I don't think I really need any more copies of her books. I've kind of stopped buying multiple copies. This year I haven't really bought many. I was doing it for a while with the Bronte books. I was buying a ridiculous amount of multiple copies and I just had to stop because I couldn't buy any other books that I haven't read yet. My Jane Austen collection might not grow much bigger, but that's it for now. Okay, my name's Laura King Dickens. Thank you so much for watching. I'm very nervous, so I'm sorry if I spoke too fast or looked at myself the whole time. But yes, if there are any videos that you would like me to make, any books that you would like me to talk on, or any authors you'd like me to speak on, let me know. I keep looking over there because I'm avoiding the camera. That is the vibe. Okay, that's it. That's me. I'm Laura. Yes. And I'm looking at myself again. Jesus Christ. Okay.